welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm gonna finally be sharing with you guys how I achieve this look right here. This is like my soft glam pretty girl. Like, I tried, but I didn't try too hard. I'm obsessed. I love this look so much. I can't even tell you guys how many times I've done this look. It's like my go-to. I'm obsessed with it. It's such a perfect soft glam look that really just enhances your natural beauty, your features. It's stunning. It's the perfect flirty girl look, if you get me. So I'm really excited for today's video. I hope you guys are too. This is gonna be more of a like chit chat, get ready with me. You guys, I was really on one. I don't know what was going on. This video is probably going to be so long, but it's fine because you know what? I feel like doing chit chat get ready with me's are the perfect way for you to get to know someone's personality, kind of give you that feeling that you're in a room with your best friend and just chit chatting. So I'm very, very excited. I hope you guys are excited to learn how to create this look today. We're going to go ahead and jump into today's video. Before we do, please don't forget to give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you guys have not already. And of course, without further ado, if you finally want to get the chance to learn how I achieve this look right here, then just keep on watching. Alright you guys, let's get started with this look. I'm very, very excited. We're going to be starting from brows. Okay, I feel like I get so many questions on how I do my brows, so let's get into it. This is like one of my favorite looks ever. You guys know I live for a good colorful look, but this soft glam that I'm going to show you guys in today's video is like my go-to. I wear it all the time and it's so easy and effortless to do. You just have to have the right products, the right techniques, and it's life-changing. So let's get into the brows. I like to go in with the Got to Be Glued Styling Spiking Gel. This is what the gel looks like right here. I'm pretty sure you guys have all seen this before, and I like to take just a little bit and kind of mush it around. I'm going to show you, listen, judgment free zone. Okay, this is what mine looks like. It looks absolutely disgusting because I take a little bit and then I kind of like do this to my brush and kind of get it evenly coated on the brush itself. So like that's all like dried up glue. Don't come for me. It works for me. Okay, whatever works for you. I'm pretty sure not all your makeup products look amazing. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just take that spoolie and I'm going to brush my brows in the direction that they already go. So I'm going to brush the front up because that's how they already are. I am brushing them up, but you can see I'm going to start brushing them to the side like this. And then these hairs that are sticking up, I'm just going to take my spoolie ever so slightly and I'm just going to start to kind of brush them to the side like so. Now, my brows are obviously uneven. That is okay. I have a little bit of sparse areas on my brows. We are going to fill that in with the pencil, so don't worry about that. But the point of this is just to get the structure of the brow going. Keep in mind, this dries very, very quickly. And another thing I wanted to mention to you guys is that I do not flatten and press down on the spoolie because I don't want this hair stuck to my skin. That does not work for me. I don't know how people get their brow products on when they have their brow hairs like literally stuck down to their skin. It just doesn't work for me. So I find that just applying the gel through the brow hairs just to kind of get them stiff enough to stay in place works perfectly for me. But I do not take like anything else and kind of like smush them down or press them onto the skin. Absolutely not. This right here is perfect for me. So let's move on to the next step. So to fill in my brows, I'm going to go in with the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz. Still love that product. It's still a holy grail for me, but Benefit recently sent me a really thoughtful package full of their products, and you guys know I've worked for Ulta, so I used to sell these brow pencils all the time. People love Benefit, so I was like, you know what, let me just give it a chance, and honestly it's a really great pencil. So this is what I've been using, and I like to use mine in the shade 3.5. And what I like to do with my brow is just underline the brow first. And obviously I'm going to show you how I do that. I feel like doing my brows is a little bit difficult for me to talk, so just bear with me. But sometimes I'll rest my finger here. I have no idea why. Don't even ask. It's just like a habit. And I will kind of just start to draw that line out. And you guys can see I'm doing super light strokes. very, very light. You do not want to be too heavy with this. The heavier you are with your hand, the darker your brows are going to look. So be mindful of that. I'm not going too underneath the hair. I'm literally right at the root of the hair because you don't want to make your brows too thick unless you do. Personal preference. For me, I don't want to make them too thick. So I'm just going to take my time and kind of just underline them all the way through until I get to the tail of the brow. Okay, so you should end up with something like this. Now, don't worry about if the line is not super perfect because we're going to clean it up with concealer, so don't even worry about it. But this is kind of like your guideline. So what I'm going to do now is with that same brow pencil, I'm going to start to create little hair strokes in my brow. And I'm not staying in the same spot for too long because you want the brows to be as even as possible. So you don't want to stick to one spot and kind of like color it in. You guys, listen, if you do that with your brows, that's fine. I'm not here to judge, but it's gonna make it look really harsh. If you want something that's gonna give you kind of like that illusion of hair, this is how you want to fill in your brows. So you guys can see right here, I'm pretty sparse. So I kind of just go over that area just a little bit more, but nothing too crazy, only until it kind of blends with this section right here that has all the hair. So you want to be super gentle. When I get to the front, I'm also super careful. You don't want the front to be too pigmented. So less is more in the front of the brow. So I'm pretty happy with that so far. So now we're going to do the top of the brow. Not everyone likes to line the top of their brow. I personally do. But I like to start from this midsection right here. And I don't know if you guys can see on camera, but can you guys see like this little hair is a little stuck to my skin? So I'm going to kind of just unstick it from my skin and make sure everything is laid down like that, because if it's stuck to your skin and you try to go over it with the brow pencil, it's going to skip right over the hair and it's not going to be smooth, and you don't want that. Okay, so I went ahead and added that line to the top of my brow. So let's get into cleaning up the brows. I'm going to go in with the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer. If you are not using this concealer right here to carve out your brows, I'm telling you right now, your whole world is about to change. Get this concealer. This is the best concealer. Like, after this video, I'm literally about to go to Sephora because, as you guys can see, I need a new one. I used this entire tub and this lasts me over a year, which is absolutely insane. I'm gonna take it on a flat brush. Honestly, any flat brush will do, but this is the one that I like to use. So I like to go on the back of my hand just to make sure that concealer is nice and even and I don't have too much concealer on the brush. You guys can see I have some concealer on my hand. And now we're gonna go straight in. When it comes to cleaning up your brows, I like to go a little bit below the brow just so my hand can kind of get into the rhythm of the motion that I'm doing with it. And once I feel like I'm pretty confident to get closer to my brow, I will start to slowly but surely go up to my brow. And you guys can see I'm not going all the way straight through. That is such a huge mistake. Definitely do it in sections, okay? Because it's going to give you a cleaner, crisper line and you don't ruin your brows. And also, like I said, this concealer makes a huge difference because it's more of a thicker consistency, so it's not slipping and sliding or bleeding into your brows, which is what you don't want, because you just spent all that time filling in the brow and then you're just gonna ruin it with a runny concealer. So I definitely recommend this concealer if you guys are on the market for a new one, or if you want to get bomb brows. Get this concealer to clean up your brows. And right now, honestly, is the time where you can really manipulate the shape of your brow while you're concealing it. So definitely just take your time, see what works for you, see what shape you like for your own brow. But for me, that looks pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is just go in with an angled brush and I'm just going to buff out that concealer underneath the brow. Less is definitely more when it comes to concealer, because you guys already know I usually use an eyeshadow base or eyeshadow primer. So I don't need to bring the concealer all the way down to my lid. Now for today's video specifically, I am going to be using concealer instead of the P. Louise base. I'll explain why when I get to that step. But that's the bottom of the brow so far. It looks pretty good. So now we're going to do the top. Now when I clean up the top of my brow, I never start from the beginning of the brow. That's going to give you that super boxy brow that you do not want. So you want to start kind of like a third of the way, I want to say. You guys are going to see what I'm doing. Concealer up again, just to make sure that I'm not applying too much product too close to the brow. Kind of spread that product out and then continue. And you guys can see I still did not define that tail. And let me show you guys my little secret trick. So what I'm going to do now is start to buff out this concealer. And I'm going to buff it out. And then what I'm going to do is when I get to the end, I'm going to kind of sweep it down. Do you guys see what it did there? It basically created that tail for me and gave me that super sharp tail. And I didn't have to do anything to get it. Now, if you do mess up a little bit like I did, just go back in with your concealer brush. And just clean it up a little bit. Alright, you guys, so there is the brow. Honestly, I don't feel like I do anything super different than any other makeup artist when it comes to the brows. But I know for a fact that sometimes I watch people personally and they're like, I do it the same way, like I don't see the difference. But then I'm like, no, there is a difference because the technique is different. So that's how I feel in my brows. I'm obsessed. I have been on such a major brow journey and I feel like I finally got my perfect brow. Now, I did want to mention quickly that if you feel like in the front of your brows you did make the line a little bit too harsh, just take a clean spoolie and just go over that line just a little bit, super lightly, and it's gonna kind of just fade that line. So you guys see we don't have any harsh line going all the way up towards the front of the brow, but we do have it nice and defined underneath. I'm obsessed. So those are how I get my go-to brows. You can change the shape, you can make them more arched, more straight, a little thicker, a little thinner, whatever you want. But that's basically my brow routine and techniques in a nutshell. So brows are done. Let's move on to the eye makeup. Alright, you guys, so let's get started with the eyes. The eyes are super simple and easy. So before I jump into priming and showing you the eyeshadow palette that I use to create this look, I want to talk about the brushes that I use. Very, very simple. Only 4 brushes for this look. So you're going to need a fluffy brush like this. Something that's really nice, really big and fluffy. Then you're going to need a second fluffy brush, which looks like this. You guys can see the difference between the two. One is super big and fluffy. The other one is also fluffy, this one right here, but it's definitely smaller and more compact. You're going to need that. You're going to need a tiny blending brush like this one right here. It's more of a pointed blending brush. And then the last brush that you're going to need for this look is a flat definer brush. So these 4 brushes right here are all you're going to need to create today's eyeshadow look. Now, as far as the eyeshadow palette, first of all, this palette is expensive and I am aware. I don't think it's too expensive. Honestly, I can't remember, but everything's going to be linked down below. But when I tell you that this palette is phenomenal, this is the NATASHA DENONA Glam Face Palette. I don't know if you can even still get this palette, but this is what it looks like. Like I said, if I can find it, I will go ahead and link it in this video so you guys can get it if you want to. But as you guys can see at the bottom, it comes with 5 eyeshadows. 2 of them are shimmer shadows and 3 of them are matte shades. And then you get a blush and a highlighter as well. Now, both of the products at the top, the blush and the highlight, are both cream products. So I just want to let you guys know that. Let's get into the look, shall we? So when it comes to doing this more natural, soft glam, a very simple eye, I like to go in with concealer instead of eyeshadow primer. Now, when I go in with my P. Louise eyeshadow primer, I go in with that product because I'm planning to go in with a ton of eyeshadow. I need it to be super pigmented, and 99% of the time I'm going in with color. So I'm not doing anything like that today, so I want to keep it very simple and very minimalistic. So I'm going to go in with the concealer. Now, the only concealer that I use for this is the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. This one is specifically in the shade Light Beige. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this and just apply a little to my lids. Now, this is pretty cool because even if you don't want to apply any eyeshadow for the day and you just kind of want something super neutral, super matte, you just kind of want to cancel out your eyelid color, this is going to be perfect. I like to apply the concealer and just let it sit for a minute or two. And I'm going to go in with this Morphe brush right here. This is the Morphe M173 brush. This is the same brush that I use with my P. Louise base. It's phenomenal. It's like a super tiny little kabuki domed brush. It's amazing. It's very, very dense, so it really does blend out your product. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to blend this out onto the lid. You basically just want to spread this product as best you can so you can bring it underneath the brow. And you guys can see that's why I never have to use my concealer that I use to cover up my brows all the way down onto my lid, because eventually if you're using an eyeshadow base or using a concealer like what I'm using today, it's going to meet each other anyway. So it kind of just becomes one and looks like you actually did use that same concealer all over the lid, but you didn't. So I'm going to bring the product around, just make sure it's nice and even, make sure everything is really nice and covered. And this is what you should end up with, a super clean blank canvas. So let me go ahead and blend out the other side. Okay, so I went ahead and blended out the concealer on both eyes. So what I'm going to do now might shock you, but I'm going to set the concealer with powder. This right here is the Rimmel London Stay Matte Pressed Powder. This is one of my favorite powders of all time. If you're looking for a really good affordable drugstore powder, this is amazing. If you have dry skin, if you have oily skin, it gives your skin the most beautiful finish, but it's also the only powder that I would use to set my eyelids for days like today. So the reason why I like to set my eyelids with this powder, which I'm gonna set right now before it creases, you definitely want to make sure you do this before it creases, but because when you're doing something more neutral like what I'm doing today, kind of just like a wash of color, I want the shadows to blend effortlessly and I don't want them to stick to the concealer. So when I use an eyeshadow base or when I'm working with super bright colorful shades, the point is for it to stick to the base, right? So you can get that maximum intensity, you can really build up the color, everything looks really nice and intense. But for today's look, because it's so natural, I kind of just want everything kind of look like just a dusting of color. It's meant to look really nice and natural, really nice and blended, and so that's why instead of leaving it wet, I'm going to go ahead and set it so when I go in with these powders and I start to do that windshield wiper motion that I'm going to do, it's not going to get stuck where I initially put down that brush. So just keep that in mind when you're doing a look like this. I know this is so different from what I usually do. That's why I was so excited when you guys said yes, that you wanted to see a tutorial on this look. This is actually the look I was wearing in my Sephora haul. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. I'm going to put it right here or right here somewhere. So I'm going to take my biggest, fluffiest brush that I showed you guys, and I'm using the Morphe M518. I don't know if you can get these brushes, but that is the brush that I'm using, and I showed you guys them up close. So any brush that you have in your collection that looks similar will do. And I'm going to go into the lightest shade. Now, a really cool thing about this palette, which I didn't even notice until right now that I'm actually paying attention to the names of the shades, it actually tells you where they go. So I'm going to go in with the shade Transition, and that's exactly what I'm going to use it for. It's going to be my transition shade. So I'm going to just grab a little bit of that, and I'm going to start on the outer corner, of course. And then I'm just going to go in and start to wiggle this in. I'm telling you guys, this is like the simplest eye look ever, like ever, and it's so beautiful and effortless. Okay, so that's what the color looks like. You can see it looks very soft, but it's starting to give us a little bit of definition, right? So now I'm going to go in with my next blending brush that I showed you guys, which is another fluffy blending brush, but it's a little bit tapered and smaller than the first one. And I'm going to go into the shade Crease. I freaking love the fact that it says that. I didn't even notice that until this video, but I'm going to go in with the shade Crease, which is this color right here. Now with the first color, which was our transition color, obviously I went all throughout the crease, but with this specific color, because it's a little bit darker, I'm going to keep it more towards the outer corner. So I'm going to really pack it. So I'm going to focus it right here on the outer corner, and then whatever is left on the brush, I will start to drag it into the crease. But I'm keeping most of it on that outer corner, kind of doing just circular motions, blending at the same time. And then again, whatever is left on the brush, I'm going to start to bring it into the crease. And now I'm going to go in with my smallest blending brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Smoke, which is the deeper brown in the palette right here, which doesn't look super deep on camera, but it is the darkest shade in the palette. So I'm going to go in with that color, and I'm going to kind of like lightly pull on my temple here. And I'm gonna really focus this on the outer corner, okay? Because like I said, this is the deepest shade, and we're not going for a smoky eye. I'm just trying to give my eye a little bit of definition. So I'm going to go in with that darkest shade, and I'm going to work it right on the outer corner of my eye. So once you go ahead and blend out that outer corner, you should have something like this. That is literally it. If you wanted to, you can go back in with your biggest fluffy brush, and you can take a little bit more of that lightest shade and the crease shade as well. So your transition and your crease shade in the palette, and you can kind of blend into the inner part of the crease just to make sure everything is really nice and blended. And you should have that really beautiful fade from like a deeper color here, and then it gets lighter in the crease area, and then of course it just fades to nothing. But can you guys see what I mean when I said that when you set the concealer in place, everything just blends so seamlessly? So Let's move on to the last step of this look because it's so easy. This right here is the TRESLUCE eyeliner in TIERRA. And basically it's a brown eyeliner. This is what it looks like right here. You guys, I love this eyeliner. I don't know if it's because of the tone of the brown, but it is so pretty. And you guys see the tip, it's a very unique marker tip eyeliner. And I feel like it just makes doing my eyeliner so freaking easy. Now, I don't know how well this will work if you're someone who likes to do a super dramatic wing. I don't know if this is going to be the liner for you, but I know for me, I like to do a super baby wing with this type of look. Something very simple, very effortless. For those of you who are scared of eyeliner, I got you, okay? Don't be too concerned if it's a little bit wonky. Obviously, you want to try to be as precise as you can be, but we're going to clean it up. So don't be too nervous. So what I like to do is just take my liner. You can make it as long or as short as you want. And then I'm going to flip the eyeliner and I'm going to drag it back in just like that. And then I'm going to fill in that space. Alright you guys, so there is the eyeliner, and baby, I wasn't kidding when I said a baby wing. I meant it. A little tiny baby wing. So now what we're going to do is clean up the wing. Okay, we want her nice and sharp. So I'm going to go in again with the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. I don't even know why I said in the beginning of the video that I use this just to cover my brows. I use this for any type of cleanup work, period. So I'm going to take a little bit of this concealer. Please guys, honestly, if there's anything you get from today's video, I mean, I'm talking about a lot of good stuff, but get this concealer because it's really nice. So I'm going to go in and I'm not going to drag, okay? I'm going to stamp the concealer on, sharp AF. And then I'm going to go in with that same little blending brush that I used for my brows, and I'm just going to blend out that concealer so it's not harsh underneath there. That's what the little baby wing looks like. She's so cute. So now we're gonna go in and add a lash. Now for this look specifically, you're gonna need a half lash. I would tell you guys the lash that I'm using as a half lash, but honestly I kind of basically just cut them the way that I want them. So I will just say don't spend too much money on a half lash. Go to Ulta, go to your local drugstore and just get some Kiss wispy lashes and that'll be perfect. But what I will say is for a half lash, it's super important to curl your lashes because you need your natural lashes to blend into that half lash as best as you can get it. Because remember, a half lash is only going on the outer corner of your eye. It's not going to be on your entire lid. So you want them to blend as best as you can get them. So it's really, really important that you curl your lashes. My favorite mascara at the moment is this one. This one is the Lancome Lee 8 Hypnose mascara. It's this one right here. It's the one in that like really cool packaging. I really like this mascara. I like a drier formula when it comes to a mascara, and you really want to make sure that you're really getting in there and really coating your lashes. Okay, so then I'm gonna go in. Honestly you guys, these half lashes, I've been wearing them so much. Like, they crispy, okay? That's how much mascara they have on them. But listen, it's okay. She'll survive for this video. Might throw them out after. Might still wear them. Who knows? You want to pop them right there. So the end of your half lash should be obviously at the end of your eye. And then you just want to press them on, press them in. Give them a nice little zhuzh, a nice little lift, okay? And then I'm going to go in with that mascara. Keep in mind, I've only put one coat of mascara so far. So now I'm going in with my second coat of mascara. And I'm doing this just to blend my lashes. And also make the front lashes a little bit more pigmented. And kind of just blend everything together. Sometimes I'll go in with the spoolie. The spoolie is from my brow pencil. It doesn't have the got to be, so don't worry. Probably like, girl, weren't you just using that for the got to be? But no, I'm just going back in just to comb out the lashes because like I said, you want them to kind of blend as best as you can get them to. And then that's it. That's basically the eyes. It's super flirty, super fun. So now that the eyes are pretty much almost done, we just have to do the lower lash line. Let's get into complexion. Alright you guys, hey, I feel like the whole time I've been speaking, but like you can't see my mouth, but I'm here now. Okay, so let's do complexion. I feel like I kind of really want to try the Patrick Ta foundation again. I have it right here in front of me, but then I feel like I'd be cheating because that's technically not what I used for this look when I wore it in my Sephora haul. but I don't know, would you guys be upset? I kind of really want to see if this foundation is worth it before I end up returning it, because I really like the powder, but the cream, I just don't think it's for me. So I have my foundation that I did wear though in that video. You guys, when I tell you that this has become one of my top foundations, like literally top 3, not even kidding, like this foundation is bomb. This is the Makeup Revolution IRL Filter Foundation. It's in the shade F10, which is my perfect shade. It's phenomenal. It says 16-hour wear, but you guys, it's like 24-hour wear, okay? Obviously we don't wear our makeup for that long, but when I tell you that this lasts all day through heat, humidity, sweating, oily skin, no matter what you have, this is gonna last you all day. It is so good. So you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna use the Patrick Ta, and if it doesn't work out, then when I go to Sephora today to return it, I won't feel guilty that I didn't give it another chance. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll go in with the IRL foundation. That sounds like a plan. I am going to prime my face. I'm going to be using the Huda Beauty. This is the Water Jelly Primer. This is the primer that I like to use on days where I'm doing this look. This primer is so nice. It's so hydrating on the skin. I love it so much. I don't hear a lot of people talk about this, but it's bomb. So I'm going to go in and just apply this to my face. Also, you guys, you want to hear a tragedy? I'm so funny. I'm so dramatic. I was using some skincare and I noticed that every time I would do my skincare that I would get red right here. This part of my face right here is super sensitive. See, you guys can see I still have a little bit of the breakout from yesterday. So I went in with my normal stuff, and the first thing that I applied besides my toner that I've been using forever is the Glow Recipe Niacinamide Glow Dewdrops. You guys, my skin immediately flared up. It was immediately red right in this cheek area. I was like, oh snap, that's the product. Like, that's the product that has been breaking me out. I can't use it, and that's so devastating, because if you know what product I'm talking about, you know that product basically went viral and it's amazing. It leaves your skin really radiant and beautiful, but I guess the formula just doesn't agree with my skin. But anyways, this right here is the Patrick Ta. This is called the cream foundation. It has a cream foundation and a powder inside, and I did a full review and wear test if you guys are interested. I will go ahead and leave that video down below, but I'm just gonna go in with my sponge. I'm gonna go straight into the cream, and like I said, I did apply my primer, but it's been sitting on my skin for a few now. So I'm gonna go in with the sponge. The first time I used this cream foundation, I went in with a brush. So let's see what it's giving. Okay, honestly, it's looking pretty freaking good, not even gonna lie. Like with the sponge, it's looking so much better. When I did the review, I used a brush, and for some reason in that video, hopefully, I mean, I haven't even edited that video yet, but by the time you guys see this video, that video is already up. There was a part of the video where, like, at my jawline, you could see that it was separating and it looked horrible, but it looks like with a sponge, it's blending beautifully. So I don't know if it was just that day, but you see, this is why sometimes you just have to give products another chance, because initially it may not work out, or maybe it just wasn't meshing with the skincare I had underneath. But today, it looks good, you guys. So mission abort. Okay, I'm not returning this foundation. It actually looks really beautiful. It looks so good. I guess it was just the technique or whatever I was wearing that day just like didn't work with the product itself. But I also applied it with a brush because I just felt like it made sense in my head. Cream foundation with a brush, but with a sponge, it looks bomb. Like really good. And then it worked really well with this water jelly primer from Huda Beauty, which is fantastic because I love that primer. So let's move on to cream bronzer, shall we? I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Match Stick. Now we're going in with all the products that I use. I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Match Stick, and I'm going in with the Fenty Beauty 125 face brush. You guys know I love this cream bronzer. It is bomb. Okay, the formula is just sensational. I mean, like, the color is perfection. It blends like a dream. I love it so much, and I feel like I've had this forever, and I still have so much product in here, and it's beautiful. It's not really, I want to say it's like a drier formula, but it's not really a drier formula. It's just because it's in stick form, I feel like it just stays exactly where you put it, and I really love that. Like, I hate a super loose, wet cream bronzer. Do you guys know which one I can't stand and people love? And it just doesn't work for me. The color is just not for me. Maybe if they brought out some better shades, it would work. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. Okay, so for concealer, I'm going in with an oldie but goodie. This is an OG. This is like the queen of the throne. Okay, this product right here will forever have a special place in my heart. This right here is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. If you know, you know. This baby right here, phenomenal. I use mine in the shade Custard, which I feel like is probably the most popular shade ever. And I'm gonna go right underneath my eyes. This concealer is just bomb. It lasts all freaking day. It has really beautiful coverage. And it's just amazing. It's just really good. I'm so surprised at this foundation. Like, now I feel like trash because I did a review for you guys. Told you it looked like an oily mess. It's separated. And I'm trying it for the second time and I'm like, why does it look so good? Why couldn't it look like this when I tried it the first time? I can't even imagine how long this video was gonna be. This is why I don't do these type of like chit chat, get ready with me type of videos, because your girl, I could talk for days. Every time I use this concealer, I'm blown away all the time. And like, you only need that little bit. That's all you need. Look at that. It's so good. So I'm gonna go in with my powder, and you guys already know I'm gonna go from the outer part of my eye to the inner part of my eye to make sure that I really get inside those lines. I don't want any creasing throughout the day, and that's going to be the best way to avoid any creasing. Any brightening powder will do. Even when I'm doing a soft glam, I really love a super bright under eye. That's just my thing. I feel like it makes you look more awake, more alive. Honestly, personal preference. I'm going to go and do the same thing on the other side. Do you guys see how fast we're going now at this point? Because it's such a simple look that it's like once you get the eyes down pack, everything else is a piece of cake. So now I'm going to go in with my Pretty Fresh powder from ColourPop. Don't judge me. I'm well aware that I need to buy a new one, okay? I should hit up ColourPop like, y'all trying to send me another powder? Or what? No, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm going to buy one. But I'm going to go ahead and set my face with this. This powder is so good, okay? The only thing that sucks about this powder is I, of course, use the shade Medium 11, and they don't carry Medium 11 at Ulta. They have Medium 12, which is too dark for me, but Medium 11 you can only get on the ColourPop website. The skin is skinning, okay? It's skinning. Okay, so let's get into bronzer. I'm going to go in with this Jouer Hydrate and Set Powder. Now, I really like this for days like this where I'm doing more soft glam looks. I want my base makeup to look really smooth, really melted into the skin. And since this is a face powder, it has that blurring, softening technology, if you will, inside the powder. It gives you that really beautiful smoothing, blurring effect because it's meant to go all over the face. So I just got it in a darker shade. This one is in the shade Tan. And I'm just gonna go in and bronze my face. The more blurred, the better, honey. Okay, we're trying to look like a walking filter. That's the goal. That's always the goal. I'm gonna go in with the Danessa Myricks Beauty Dewy Cheek and Lip Palette. Now, I don't know. I keep saying the same thing, but why is no one talking about this palette? I really don't get it. I really love the formula. This one is in Do It Flirty, and I will say this, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all as always. This shade right here is a creamy hot mess, period. Like this, as soon as you even touch it with your finger, you guys can see I accidentally dipped my finger in it. It's like a creamy mess, but all the rest of the shades are stunning. I typically only stick to these two. They're so beautiful. I mix the two together, and you guys can see I use the top of the palette to kind of just, you know, take off any of the excess, which I probably should wipe that now that I'm ill. Now that I'm thinking about it, you know how many times I've dipped into that cap? I've never wiped this. Wow, not me exposing myself on the internet. Anyway, I'm gonna go in with that, and I'm gonna add some of that to my cheeks, because we're gonna give blushed. She's always over blushed, okay? But do you guys see the color? All jokes aside, for real. Let me get back into my professional influencer, let me teach you attitude. Do you guys see the color? It's pretty. It's very pretty. You could put as little or as much as you want. Do keep in mind that blush is the first thing to fade. Blush and bronzer throughout the day are the first things to fade. So don't be scared to go in with your blush. I'm also not saying don't be, you know, like don't overdo it. I mean, honestly, can you really ever overdo it with blush? For me, it's a no. This is the KVD Beauty Blush in the shade Honeysuckle. It is the most beautiful neutral blush ever. Obviously, I'm well aware that it may not work for everyone's skin tone, but I know it looks super natural in the pan, but it's a really beautiful color. It's more of like a nude blush, and I'm just using that just to kind of set that DENONA Myricks palette in place. I have a piece of glitter literally right there, and now I can't even pick at it because it's like, now it's like, you know, sealed into my foundation and everything. She's gonna stay right there and live her best life because I'm not about to ruin my base makeup. I was supposed to be at Sephora like 2 hours ago, okay? I swore I was gonna be done with my errands by, what time is it? By 2 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock, okay? It is 5 o'clock, and this is why sometimes I'm up until 2 o'clock in the morning editing, because I decide last minute. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Sephora. Let me just end up doing my makeup anyway, just to go to Sephora, because you know the girlies at Sephora, when they don't see you with makeup, they want to be looking at you like, and I'm like, I know what I'm looking for. But yeah, I was like, you know what, let me just film it. By the way, you guys, it's all jokes. Like, I'm not a mean girl. You guys, this is just like me. Y'all asked for chit chat, get ready with me. So I'm giving you a chit chat, get ready with me. But yeah, so what was I saying? Oh, I was saying, so I decided to sit down and just film this look, since, you know, it's super simple, easy, and quick. But because I'm sitting here chatting, it took me like almost 2 hours to film. So no biggie, because we're almost done. But what do you guys think of the skin? The skin is giving, okay? It looks really beautiful. I think I might actually like this Patrick Ta cream foundation. Alright, you guys, let's get into this lower lash line. I actually decided not to move the camera because this is going to take literally like a minute or two. So I'm feeling a bit lazy, let's be real. And I don't feel like getting up and moving the camera closer and then having to get up and move it back, okay? This ain't no fancy setup where I have a remote control like these influencers where I'm just like zoom in, zoom out. No, I have to actually get up and move my camera, so we're not doing that. Let's do the lower lash line. Very, very simple. So I'm going to go back into the shade Smoke, which is the darkest shade in the palette, which is this color right over here, and I'm taking it on a flat definer brush. Again, we're only using those 4 brushes that I showed you guys in the beginning for this look. So I'm going to go in with the flat definer brush and take the shade Smoke, and I'm going to press that onto my lower lash line. I'm not going to drag it all the way in. I'm going to take it about halfway through, just like that. And then I'm going to take that smaller fluffy blending brush and I'm going to dip into a little bit of crease and transition, both of them. And I'm just going to go in and wiggle that right over top of that Smoke shade. And because the shades are lighter now, I'm going to start to drag it towards the inner corner. And I'm just going to blow it out like so, nothing crazy. And then once I have it nice and blended, like so, I'm going to go back in with the shade Smoke and just re-intensify it on the outer portion of the eye. Just like that, nothing crazy. And then I'm going to go in with my waterline pencil. This right here, why did I say that? I'm gonna go in with my eyeliner. I don't even know why, but I mean, it is for your waterline, but that was weird. Honestly, I need friends. Anyway, this right here is the Too Faced Killer Liner in Killer Cashmere. You guys know this is my jam. If you want a really good, long wearing, super easy to apply waterline nude color, this is bomb. Like, this is bomb. So I'm just gonna go in and pop this on my waterline. You guys can see it's so easy. Like, it applies effortlessly. Lower lash mascara. This is not up for discussion. This is the best lower lash mascara ever, okay? This is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. Okay, stop using random mascaras for your lower lashes and go to MAC, go to Ulta, get this. It's so tiny and precise. It's phenomenal. So I'm gonna go in and just give myself a really good coat of lower lash mascara. This is basically the look. I don't know if I'm going to put on highlight. I might apply just a little bit of highlighter, but to be honest, I usually just leave it like this. But I probably will apply just a little bit of highlights. But let's do the lips. I know, who am I? Giving you guys a lip combo in a video. She's a YouTuber. Alright, I'm sorry if the light changed a little bit. For some reason, the camera was super warm, which is really annoying. Okay, we're not orange, I promise you. We are our skin tone, okay? But let's get into the lip combo. Don't get too excited because you can't get this lip liner. I know. The worst. But it's a really nice color and it's what I usually use for this look. Now, as an alternative, any warm brown lip liner will do. You can use Jaclyn Hill Toasty. You can use Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics Hot Tea, I think it's called. That one's amazing. You can use Makeup by Mario Travis lip liner. You guys are probably like, well, girl, if you have all those colors, why aren't you using one of those? Because I want to use this one. This is the Il Makiage and Carly Bible lip liner in Luna. Can they please bring this collection back? Because this lip liner is like so bomb. Alright you guys, for real, my SD card just got full and I have another one and that one's already full with a ton of content that I already filmed this past week. So, okay, let's proceed. But I just went in and just feathered in my lip liner. And now for lipstick, this lipstick, you guys, is so beautiful. Okay, while you're on your way to Sephora to pick up a few of these products, get this lipstick if you like a pinky nude. This is the Fenty Beauty lipstick in the shade Mother Lover. I really love the formula too. It's like a soft matte formula, so it's, I want to say it's more satin in my opinion. It doesn't have shine to it, but it's so comfortable on the lips. It's like, it's unreal. And honestly, that's the lip combo. I'm gonna add one more thing just because you guys know I like a little bit of definition when it comes to my lips. So I'm gonna just go in with the slightest bit of the Sephora lip cream in number 32. I've been using this forever. It's the perfect lightener for your lipstick. And then I'm just gonna go in with the little eyeshadow brush. And honestly, that's basically it. All I'm going to do now is just set my face and apply a little bit of highlights. Okay, so for highlight, I'm going to go in with the LYS Beauty Highlighter in the shade Brave. Such a beautiful highlight. It's also super intense, so I'm just going to take just a little bit to the cheekbones. Like that. Okay, she's pigmented. A little bit on my nose. A little on the tops of my brow. So pretty. A little bit goes a long way. Of course, we're not forgetting to go in with our brow gel. No ma'am, you never skip that step. Okay, this right here is the REFY brow gel. I think it's called the Brow Sculpt actually. This product is bomb. Okay, so doing this as your last step is going to help to refresh your brows because your brows might pick up a lot of the powder that you are putting on your skin. So it's really crucial to go in with a brow gel after. Especially if the first thing that you do is your brows. If you do your brows after you do powder and everything like that and foundation, you might not have to do that, but I definitely usually do. So now setting spray quickly. I'm going to go in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. Such a bomb setting spray if you want your makeup to last all day. I mean, the day's almost over for me, but I'm going to spray just a little bit. You guys, so this is the finished soft glam look. Of course, I forgot to film an outro, but I'm pretty sure at this point you guys are sick of me, okay, with all the talking I did in today's video. But I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and of course I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.